NBA rookie becomes strongest shooting guard in history. Episode 61. The team that has remained undefeated so far this season is not just the Warriors. After all, the season has just begun, and it is not unusual for many teams to play 2-0 or 3-0 by virtue of the advantages of the schedule and the fast finding of player form. Similarly, there is not just one team that has not won so far this season. It's just that in this list of teams that didn't win, the name of the Los Angeles Lakers is particularly dazzling. They brought in Steve Nash plus Dwight Howard in the summer to form a luxurious F4 lineup. Then count the 8 consecutive losses in the preseason and the 3 consecutive losses in the regular season, and this is already an 11-game losing streak. On the American network, fans have begun to throw questions. When will the Los Angeles Lakers' new F4 be ready for their first victory since formation? It just so happens that now the Warriors have won 3 straight wins, the complete opposite of the Lakers' season so far. Which will come first, with the Warriors' first loss of the season or the Lakers' first win of the season? This question is actually really sharp. What's even sharper is that the Golden State Warriors' opponent in the next game is the Los Angeles Lakers sitting on F4. So after this question came out, all the reporters in the audience held their breath. All the camera lenses at the scene were focused on the Celestial Empire champion, who was ready to answer. I know who the opponent is in the next game. In everyone's listening state, Logan spoke confidently, so, I can only wrong them to lose again. After saying this, Logan decisively turned around, leaving the reporters on the scene, messy in place. Logan undoubtedly knows that the Warriors will fly to Los Angeles in the next game to face the Los Angeles Lakers. But he still said, the opponent in the next game will still lose. Even if the Lakers have not tasted defeat so far this season, but from the performance analysis of Kobe Bryant has begun to slash 40 points in the last game, the Lakers in the 4th game of the season, the desire for victory may be beyond imagination. I think Logan is right, the Lakers have lost 3 games, why can't they continue to lose? ESPN's evening news program. Loyal Logan fan Stephen A. Smith firmly stated, the Golden State Warriors have won 3 straight games, why can't they keep winning? In Stephen A. Smith's view, the lineups that cover the 2 teams are not looked at, only the performance of the 2 teams so far this season. A 0-3 team against a 3-0 team, who will be the ultimate winner? Doesn't that question need to be asked? Why should you win all the defeated teams, and I win all the teams? Just because you're in Los Angeles? This makes absolutely no sense. But, Stephen, that's the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe Bryant can't let his team continue to lose at Staples. Smith's peers argued, in the last game, Kobe Bryant has already scored 40 points, and if 40 points cannot be won, I have every reason to believe that he will hit 50 points in the next game. Kobe's competitiveness does not need to be introduced at all, especially the Lakers have such great expectations this season, and they are facing the super dark horse that is gaining momentum this season. Not to mention, Kobe is about to face Logan, who is still a rising star and will challenge the status of the Black Mamba in people's mouths. If 40 points are not enough, there is every reason to believe that Kobe will use an even more terrifying scoring feast to help the Lakers win their first win of the season. ESPN's evening news has been receiving very high attention in the United States. After this episode of the program was broadcast, the Twitter hot search list was instantly occupied by the words of Logan versus Kobe. Even if the Lakers haven't won so far, they have the ability to beat the Warriors, they have Kobe, they have Dwight, they have Steve Nash, and they have Paul Gasol. Yes, the Lakers just don't have good chemistry, but not any team can go wild on their turf. Wake up, buddy, the Warriors are obviously the one who is in better shape, and it won't be surprising that the Lakers lost the 4th game. Hashtag, Logan hasn't lost since the NCAA, and the next game won't either. Logan? The Black Mamba will teach him to be human. Black Mamba? Oh man, Logan will make Kobe realize that he is old and the Black Mamba is no longer young. A variety of hot search topics surrounding Kobe and Logan have sprung up on Twitter. After a wave of unevenness, many neutral fans who watched it came to be interested and joined this topic war of new generation stars versus old era kings. In the course of this protracted war of words, NBA officials are not idle. On November 4th, U.S. time, the NBA officially announced the best player of the week in the first week of the new season on its official website. On the Eastern side, LeBron James' performance in the first week was average, and the performance of the rest of the Eastern stars was extremely mediocre. This also led to the best Eastern Conference week, which could only be given to Brandon Jennings, who led the team to 2 wins in the first week. It's all Jean Huang, it should be no different. It's different in the West. James Harden, who singled out for the first time in his career, had an extremely explosive performance in his first week. Although the bearded golfer pulled his crotch once, the excellent play of the first 2 games can also make up for the Waterloo in the 3rd game. Without the assistance of his third brother, Kevin Durant's first week was also excellent. But whether it is bearded or ado, in the competition for the best of the week in the West, it can only be nominated for the best of the week. Because, in 2012-13, the NBA's first Western Conference Player of the Week was Logan. Episode 62. Last week, 3 major events took place in the West. The Los Angeles Lakers lost all 3 games, and after the formation of F4, they did not taste the results. James Harden made his debut with a 37-plus double-double, tying Logan's season-scoring record with 45 points. And, Tiancha champion Show Logan, 45 plus 10 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 all-around double-double data in the first game of his career, breaking Wilt Chamberlain's rookie player first game scoring record. And Logan's magic goes far beyond the first debut. In the second game of the first week, Logan played only 22 minutes, sent 34 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks, filling the data column. In the third game of the first week, Logan welcomed his home debut and his first career back-to-back match. Then, he used a personal show of 24 points in a single quarter and 41 points, 8 assists and 3 rebounds in the third quarter to burst the so-called Kobe Terminator Tony Allen. He led the team unbeaten in the first week of the new season and averaged 40 points, 8.3 assists, and 5.3 rebounds per week, plus 2.7 steals and 2.3 blocks. Rookie averaged 40 points per game in his first week. This is the first time in 53 years since basketball emperor Wilt Chamberlain that the NBA has averaged 40 points per game in the first week. Not to mention, Logan also averaged 8 assists and 5 rebounds per game, as well as a comprehensive performance averaging nearly 3 steals and 2 blocks per game on the defensive end. It is worth mentioning that Logan typed this historical level of data, and there was not a single mistake. The NBA's official reason for giving Logan the award is also very simple. Directly list Logan's data performance, plus various historical records created in the first week. Don't need any too much elaboration, look at the data plus records in this line after line, you understand everything. So far, Logan has also become the second player in the history of the Celestial Empire to win the Best Player of the NBA in addition to Dayo. Dayo last won the Best of the Week, in the 06-07 season. After 6 years, the names of Celestial Empire players are finally engraved on the NBA awards again. Of course, Logan also became the first rookie in the history of the Celestial Empire to win the Player of the Week. Not to mention the history of the Celestial Empire. Even if you look at the history of the NBA, the rookie season is named the Player of the Week, it is rare. What's more, Logan was named Player of the Week in the first week of his rookie season. The last player to win the Man of the Week in the first week of his rookie season was back in 1992's Shark O'Neal. Logan became the first person in 20 years since the Sharks. As soon as the official news of the NBA was announced, it instantly became the headline news reported by major media in the United States. ESPN directly posted, "First man in 20 years. Logan of the Celestial Empire makes a new history. TNT gives news headlines. Defeat Kobe." Logan was named Western Conference Player of the Week by an overwhelming margin, and he deservedly deserved. ABC TV, lock in the best rookie early? 12-time champion Logan averaged 40 points per game in a single week and won the Player of the Week. Associated Press, honor reaper. Logan won the first award of his NBA career, starting the honorary harvest journey of his NBA career. The AP News content is also very interesting. They didn't describe much of Logan's performance last week in the text, just freed up a whole plate divided into 2 parts. The head reads NCAA. Here are a few of the honorary awards Logan won during his college days. The other half, with the NBA written on its head. The first line below is the first week of the 12-13 season, the Western Conference Week Best. Obviously, these 2 parts record the honors that Logan won during the NCAA period and the NBA period. The Associated Press directly began to record in real time the many honors Logan's NBA career has won. They want to completely sit on Logan's nickname Honor Reaper. At the same time, on Twitter, Logan was elected the best news of the week in the first week of the West, flying to the top of the hot search position with the speed of rockets taking off. Directly crushed the original hot search topic of Kobe vs. Logan. Not just on the US network. After the fans of the Celestial Dynasty saw this news from the major portals for the first time, the fans of the Celestial Dynasty also instantly fried the pan. TX Sports used a large picture rotation of the entire homepage to explain the whole process of Logan winning the first week of the Western Conference Player of the Week. And the banner at the top of the homepage reads, "Logan is creating his own legend." X-Wave Sports is even more direct, and they give headlines on the push they give to users. This is the strongest rookie in history. It may seem like the title is a bit overblown, but when fans clicked in, they found out that X-Wave said, Logan played the strongest rookie first-week performance in history. In terms of the title party, X-Wave is still steady. Logan, who occupies the top 1 position on the Twitter hot search list, naturally also won the hot search of domestic forums directly. On Weibo, topics related to Logan occupy all 5 positions in the top 5. What entertainment stars, all kinds of outrageous news, all made way for Logan. Seeing that Logan was so popular in the Celestial Empire, Yongtai number 5 also came to rub the heat. After the first game of the season was broadcast live to the Golden State Warriors game, CCTV finally announced the date of the second live broadcast of the Warriors game. November 5th, US time, is also the morning of November 6th, Celestial time. Central Channel number 5 will broadcast the Golden State Warriors away challenge to the Los Angeles Lakers Century Battle. Coincidentally, ESPN, which won the live broadcast rights of the Warriors vs. Lakers, directly announced, cancel the 5th game against the Miami Heat and switch to the national live broadcast of the Lakers vs. Warriors. Stephen A. Smith liked ESPN's live broadcast change plan on his personal Twitter account. Obviously, in the eyes of the American media, Logan's traffic is enough to play with LeBron James. Not to mention, this time, it's still Logan vs. Kobe, such a bombshell. What James, what defending champion Heat, all for me to step aside. Logan is the eternal drop god. Lebulang, ESPN actually changed its live broadcast plan? In Miami, the United States, Dwayne Wade, who was warming up, looked at the sudden news feed on his mobile phone. They want the whole country to broadcast the Lakers and Warriors game live, not us? It's not a big deal, Dwayne, our goal is to defend the title, not the number of live games in the United States. James is not interested in which game ESPN broadcasts in the United States. Wait. What did you say? Stopping the shooting practice in his hand, James turned to look at the 9-point man next to him. Which game are they going to broadcast live? Golden State Warriors vs. Los Angeles Lakers, my brother. Wade was taken aback by James. What's wrong? Do you also find their choice incredible? No, Dwayne, I don't care if ESPN will broadcast our games live in the United States. I'm just interested in the Warriors and Lakers. James suddenly smiled. Logan's kid's performance is too exaggerated. I would like to see what Kobe Bryant will look like against this guy. Now Logan's momentum is too ferocious. On the one hand, his strength is indeed outstanding. On the other hand, it is also because he has not yet met those top superstars in the league. James himself can't educate Logan well, but now, Kobe Bryant is ahead of the curve and faces this fierce young man. It just so happens that the Lakers are now 0-3 and are chasing their first win of the season. James knows all too well what a competitive guy Kobe is. With so many blessings, the Black Mamba is afraid that he will beat Logan out of the psychological shadow. But Logan is not a vegetarian. The stronger the opponent, the stronger the combat power that this Celestial Dynasty kid burst out. What kind of story will Logan vs. Kobe Bryant develop? James is really looking forward to it. We have to finish the day early, man, I want to watch the Lakers and Warriors game early. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became, and James said directly, Logan vs. Kobe, I don't even want to miss a minute. It's not just superstars like James who are also looking forward to this showdown. While the tickets for Staples Center number 5 were instantly empty, the price on the secondary market doubled several times. The cheapest ticket to the farthest grandstand has been speculated to a sky-high price of $5,000. Fans even ignored everything that happened in the NBA on November 4th, and people were like skipping the day and fast-forwarding straight to November 5th. November 5th, US time. Los Angeles, famous Staples Center. The number of security guards at the door has increased visibly. The Lakers even brought in some manpower from the Los Angeles Police Department to prevent the scene from being overcrowded. Before the game started, the square in front of Staples was already crowded. The big wave of Lakers fans also confronted a small number of Warriors fans online in the square, and the scene was extremely hot. As fans entered the stadium, ESPN's national broadcast signal also followed the stadium. The Golden State Warriors warmed up for the half, and all the players looked like they were under no pressure. Stephen Curry talked and laughed with Logan, and from time to time, he hit 2 long-range three-pointers. Staples is not a good place. While throwing three-pointers, Curry complained, I hate the basket here. Listening to Curry's complaints, Logan couldn't help but think of what fans of the previous Celestial Empire often said, the story of Curry and the Staples basket. It is worth mentioning that the famous scene of Curry's fast attack skating was also created in Staples. To say that he doesn't have a good impression of the Lakers' home court is really no joke. I don't feel anything, Steven, after all, that's where I won my first title. Logan casually threw it and hit a long-range three-pointer. This is my blessed land. Speaking of the story of Staples and Logan, then the 2012 NCAA Finals have to be mentioned. It was here that Logan defeated the mighty Kentucky and helped Texas agricultural workers win the team's first NCAA championship trophy. Today, Logan is here again, facing the equally powerful Los Angeles Lakers. It's completely different from the Warriors' side where there is talk and laughter. Another warm-up half. The Los Angeles Lakers all had a straight face. Even Howard, nicknamed Happy Beast, did not laugh before the game today. The Los Angeles Lakers look serious all over the team. On the sidelines, ESPN's commentator explained, "It seems that they know that the team can no longer lose." That's right, when the Lakers formed F4 this summer, no one would have imagined that they would actually struggle so hard for a win. The Los Angeles Lakers will never accept a loss again, they desperately need a win to change the status quo. Since the last time Kobe Bryant lost by 40 points and refused to interview after the game, the Lakers have been saddled with the task of not being able to lose again. The pre-game interview session that was originally reserved on a daily basis was also cancelled directly because of the serious atmosphere of the Lakers opening today. The whole world can see that the Purple and Gold Army is afraid to take the attitude of playing the finals today to deal with the young Golden State Warriors. The pre-match warm-up for both sides ended quickly, and the starters of both teams stood on the court. The Golden State Warriors are still the same old way: Curry plus Autumn plus Azari plus Tay and Logan. The Lakers starting lineup is Steve Nash plus C.I. Shiping plus Paul Gasol plus Dwight Howard, and the last number 24, Kobe Bryant. The center of both teams stands on the halfway line and the referee throws the ball high. Under the watch, Warcraft Howard took the lead in dialing the ball into Nash's hands. The Los Angeles Lakers dominate the offensive ball on the first opening attack. Nash quickly advanced through the half, giving the ball to Kobe Bryant on the other side. In order to reduce Rogan's consumption on both ends of the offensive and defensive ends, the Warriors opened the game to defend Kobe Bryant, Klay Thompson. Young Ah Tang is indeed not Kobe's opponent, especially today's Kobe, or a bloodthirsty Mamba. Ugh. The Black Mamba skillfully leaned back and helped the Lakers open the scoring. 2:0. The Warriors attacked the ball. Curry held the ball for half the court, and then gave the ball to Logan, who raised his hand on the left to ask for the ball. Just as the Warriors let Tang defend Kobe first, the Lakers first chose to let C.I. Shiping, that is, the original artist, deal with Rogan. Boom. Basketball starts. Logan faces the B-star Ty, who is close to the body, chooses to move the same as the previous Kobe, and plays singles on his back. Boom. 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 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Logan was like a bulldozer, from the three-point line, all the way back to the middle distance. C.I. Shiping gritted his teeth and resisted the back player, but his body seemed to be disobedient, and he couldn't stop retreating. Swoosh. There is a complete advantage in strength, and Logan does not procrastinate, turning around as a picturesque back, accurate hit, to help the Warriors tie the score. Beautiful back is Logan's ball in response to Kobe Bryant's first attack? Logan leaned back picturesquely, and the commentator on the sidelines directly opened his voice. We all know very well that since Michael Jordan, the best defender in the league who uses back-to-back technology is Kobe. Now, Logan is on Kobe's turf, breaking the defense of Kobe's teammates in Kobe's way. ESPN's commentator was silent. Because no matter from which point of view, Rogan's ball is a provocation to Kobe Bryant red fruit. Episode 63. Hey Dwayne, what am I talking about? American Airlines Center Arena, Miami, United States. James, who ended the game earlier, came out of the shower, watched the live content on the TV screen, and directly said, Logan will definitely give Kobe a dismount at Staples. I didn't expect this kid to be so daring. Wade, who had been watching the whole process, also smiled. Don't tell me that this action is not intentional. He can directly pass the defender and kill the inside to score. As the saying goes, insiders watch the doorway. Wade could see at a glance that C.I. Shiping's defense was simply not Rogan's turn to use back techniques. The moment Logan holds the ball box on the flank, if he wants, he can throw off the defender in 1 step, kill the inside, and easily complete the score. The reason why he did not choose to step past the defender, but instead forced his opponent with his back and finished with a backward lean. In addition to provoking a wave of Kobe Bryant and responding to the serious state of the whole team before the Lakers game, Wade couldn't think of a second explanation. What is called a newborn calf is not afraid of tigers. Maybe this is it. That's why I want to watch this game, buddy. Logan, this kid is so much fun. James simply didn't even wear a top, wiped it casually, and sat down next to Wade. Seriously, Roe is probably the newcomer I paid the most attention to in recent seasons. Even Blake Griffin, who was born in the Windy City Rose and took a year off and averaged 20 plus 10 per game in his rookie season after his return. None of them made James pay so much attention to their game performance. Logan, definitely the first, and probably the last. Because only by playing Logan's performance, this talented young man is worthy of James' attention. And Logan's level of rookie has no coming. The camera returns to Staples Center, the Lakers' offensive round. Nash mentioned the top position of the arc. He wanted to play a block with Howard, but the last thing the happy beast like now is blocking and dismantling. In desperation, Nash had to give the ball to Gasol at the free throw line. In order to make room for Howard, the sister-in-law can only often haunt in a position she doesn't like. But fortunately, the Warriors' interior duo has limited restrictions on the sister-in-law. Djeja easily hoisted the ball high inside, assisted Howard to eat the defender, and while scoring 2 points, he also caused the best defensive foul. Although Tay kept signaling to the referee that he was right, it was impossible for the referee to change the penalty. Fortunately, Howard failed to hit the free throw, and the rebound was protected by Isery. Curry quickly pushed forward to counterattack after receiving a pass from his teammates, and the Lakers, except for Kobe and Artai, the other three did not have time to defend back. Up front, the Warriors' three musketeers have fanned out, with Curry standing at the top of the arc, Logan on the right, and Thompson on the left. There are only 2 defenders on the Lakers' side, which is really lacking, watching Curry assist Thompson and counterattack 3-point scores. The Golden State Warriors are fighting back too fast, and although they only have 3 players involved in this conversion offense, the speed is still amazing. Compared with the Warriors' counterattack speed, the Lakers' return defense speed is very slow. Yes, Steve Nash is 38 years old after all, and Dwight Howard and Paul Gasol can't go back to defense like small players. Although the Warriors' interior duo is also air in this quick boost flow of play, the Lakers have more old arms and legs. Don't look at Kobe, and Artest can return to defense this time. Run a few more times, and the 2 old guys can't stand it. This is the advantage of youth, and it is also one of the few advantages of the Warriors in the eyes of the 2 commentators today. Advantage to advantage: if the Warriors can't grasp the advantage and can't turn the advantage into a lead on the score, it's for nothing. If you look at the Lakers, don't they have an advantage? Even if the new F4 is not young in age, their advantage against any of the previous 3 teams is very significant. However, they just can't turn a matchup advantage into a lead over the score. There is no doubt that when it comes to grasping and transforming advantages, the young Warriors are much better at it than the more experienced Lakers. It's not just good at converting advantages. The Lakers attacked, and Nash hit the ground and shoved the ball into the hands of Howard, who was at the inside position. Warcraft is one of the Lakers' biggest strengths. The moment Howard turned around sharply, the basketball in his hand disappeared. It's Logan. Logan, who didn't know when he came to make up for it, directly stole the basketball in Dwight Howard's hand. The commentator on the sidelines spoke quickly. After completing the steal, Luo did not mean to stop. A dragon counterattacked the front court and scored a violent dunk. The Golden State Warriors' interior is a natural disadvantage, and Logan knows that well, so he will appear in the position where Howard turned around, shoot accurately, and complete the steal. The Warriors won't just use their strengths on the offensive end to build a lead. Also on the defensive end, through Logan's defensive strength, make up for the shortcomings in the team's lineup. The Golden State Warriors played well on the road, especially their top pick Logan, who was very active after the opening game today. That's right, whether it is on the offensive or defensive end, Luo has contributed extremely outstanding performances. The 2 commentators also used words of praise on Logan. Discerning people can see that the Warriors' current lead is all brought about by Logan's excellent play on both ends of the offensive and defensive ends. The Lakers attacked. Nash still wanted to activate the inside monster first, but the Lakers made a mistake in passing and cutting, and the basketball was directly intercepted by Curry. Curry plus Logan flew in unison and raided the front court. The 5 Lakers starters can't keep up with these 2 young people, and can only watch Logan catch Curry's hitting board pass, an empty catch bombardment basket. 9:4. The Warriors took a 5-point lead. Give me that damn basketball. The team continued to play iron plus mistakes on the offensive end, so that Kobe, who silently gave up the ball, finally couldn't bear it. In addition to the opening first attack, Kobe has been running without the ball, hoping to put the ball at the disposal of Nash and let Howard complete more finishing points. But obviously, today's style of play did not work well at the beginning of the game. This kind of game that must be won is played like this as soon as it starts. You don't even need the team manager to pause to change the tactical play. The Black Mamba on the field takes the initiative to change. The Lakers' offense advances, and Nash passes to Kobe Bryant, passing behind him. Boom. Basketball starts. Kobe directly took Tang's left side to break through, and after a large body change to pull back, Kobe Bryant, who obtained 2 positions of shooting space, dashing jump, shot steadily and steadily. 6:9. The Lakers recover 2 points. One thing to say, Kobe Bryant's form this season is indeed the highest in recent seasons. If Logan remembers correctly, Kobe shot more from all aspects in 12-13 than in the previous 3 seasons. At one point, the average number of points per game also reached 27.3 points. If it weren't for that damn Achilles tendon, Kobe's peak could have been extended for a few more years. The Lakers side seems to have changed strategy, and Kobe Bryant turned on scoring mode in advance. This is also something that can't be helped. The Lakers' opening tactics today are not ideal, and Dwight Howard failed to play the imaginary dominance. But that's fine, we can enjoy Kobe Bryant's picturesque singles in advance. Kobe Bryant is not the only one who also has picturesque offensive ability. Just like the Black Mamba put aside all kinds of discomfort of the team and decisively opened the singles mode. On the Warriors side, Logan directly came out to take the initiative to ask for the ball, and signaled the teammates who stepped forward to block and pull away, and astride past Arteist and killed the inside. Inside, Warcraft Howard has been waiting for a long time, and he flew up to Logan. Don't look at Howard's back injury this season. The league's best defensive player for 3 consecutive years flew over with open arms, still feeling like covering the sky. It's just that Logan is not afraid of this. In the face of the obstruction of the monster that covered the sky, the Celestial Dynasty champion Yuan Lang walked in the air and twisted his figure, turned 360 degrees and wiped away from Howard's side, and hit the basket with a flowing stream. WW. Logan made a wonderful 360 layup in the air, and the fans watching the sidelines couldn't help but cheer. 5 best balls. Rogan's 5 best goals per game, although late, the commentator on the sidelines also exclaimed, he actually turned around in the air to avoid Dwight's block, and this ball has locked the top position of today's top 5 balls. Put this ball aside, Kobe Bryant is here. The 2 commentators were too late to explain. Because just after Logan sent a wonderful performance, the Black Mamba snake came out of the hole, got rid of the defense along the bottom line, reasonably crashed into the air lever in the area, and scored 2 more points beautifully. After hitting the ball, Bryant also swept his right shoulder towards the live camera on the sidelines. Meaning, this ball is just a piece of cake. Kobe Bryant, this is with Luocian. At the American Airlines Center in Miami, Wade could see at a glance what Kobe was thinking. Don't tell me that the team is out of turn, only Kobe Bryant singles out to solve the battle. As far as Kobe Bryant's eyes, you said that he is not hiding smuggles and wants to be 1v1 with Logan. Wade will not believe it when he fights to death. At the same time, Wade also began to expect, how will Logan respond, Kobe Bryant who wants to explode with himself? Boom. Between the flash's thoughts, Rogan's response came as scheduled. Outside the 3-point line in the front court, the Warriors' number 7 took a butterfly through the flower step, completely shook C.I. Shiping, opened a bow and an arrow, and the 3-point shot went into the net. Hitting this 3-pointer, Logan directly raised his right hand to match a 3, aiming at his temple. Bang. Classic 3-point headshot celebration pose. In the part of pretending to be cool, Logan will not lose to Kobe. In the Lakers' offensive round, Kobe shot a shot from outside the 3-point line, fake fax shot. The basketball knocked on the front of the basket, and in the unexpected sound of the entire Staples home fans, it still obediently fell into the net. Logan flung away the defender in front of the front court continuously, smashed into the inside, and flew up to score before the Lakers' double-high contraction defense. Kobe's side also broke into the inside with rhythm, rode a horse and shot arrows, and scored steadily with high throws. The 2 scorers were on fire in the first quarter. You sang and we appeared, 18 martial arts were displayed, and the fans who watched the scene were so overwhelmed that they didn't even dare to go to the toilet. With the last 6 seconds left in the first quarter, Logan didn't give up a chance to show. The backcourt took the initiative to ask for the ball. Logan received the ball from the backcourt, directly launched the impact of the front court, and rushed to shoot directly from a distance before the red light at the end of the first quarter of the game came on. On the bench, Curry and Thompson, who came down early to rest, stood up directly. Fans around the world held their breath as the basketball drew a perfect arc over Staples, and then, the ball light is on. Cool. Ah Tang and Ah Koo on the bench roared directly, waving the towel in their hands wildly. Logan hit the last 3-pointer before the end of the first quarter, and hit the whistle. The commentator on the sidelines also jumped up excitedly. What a game we went through. Kobe Bryant and young Logan teamed up to give us the best first quarter game of the season. Not only is it the best of the season, I think the first quarter of today's game can go down in history. This is the best first quarter game ever. The 2 commentators have completely turned over. One Kobe Bryant is enough to contribute to a single performance at the historical level. A Logan, too, can send a personal show worth the fare. Now, Logan versus Kobe, two super scorers, all in full state, staged Mars hitting the Earth level of mutual explosion. In addition to Ah Tang and Ah Tai, who are distressed and reduced to the background emperor, the fans have been satisfied. No, fans all over the world are not satisfied yet. They want Kobe Bryant and Logan to continue. People want this heads-up feast, 3 more festivals. Episode 64. In the first quarter, Kobe Bryant played 11 minutes and 34 seconds, contributing a team-high 18 points, plus 3 rebounds. As everyone expected. After slashing 40 points or losing in the last game, Kobe Bryant is bound to rush to a higher score today. The 18 points in a single quarter that have not been seen for a long time are the best proof of this. On the other hand, Logan, who exploded with Kobe in the first quarter, is undoubtedly the one with better statistics. In the first quarter, Logan scored 22 points, gave 2 assists, grabbed 4 rebounds, and scored 2 steals. With Logan's better statistics, the Golden State Warriors led the Lakers by 5 points at Steady's center at 32-27 in the first quarter. Bryant and Logan put on a wonderful scoring performance in the first quarter, and everyone is looking forward to seeing this mutual explosion scene for a few more quarters. But obviously it's not realistic, and both teams will definitely change their strategy over the next 3 quarters. As analyzed by the 2 commentators. Although people want to watch the Kobe vs. Logan drama, the reality is, Kobe, who played almost all of the first quarter, sweated much more than in the first quarter of the game. After all, Bryant is 33 years old. He may still be able to play the whole game, but he can't be super efficient for the whole game. This is the Black Mamba of peak tail, not peak flyer. What's more, in addition to Kobe, there are Howard plus Nash plus Gasol on the Lakers side. There are so many tactics they can play. Let Kobe Bryant explode in the first quarter to maintain the score, and then it's time for the rest of the Lakers to step up. On the other hand, in fact, the situation of the Warriors is similar. Logan is indeed young and boundless, and his scoring performance in the first quarter even surpassed that of Kobe Bryant. But in the narrator's view, the Warriors can't expect Logan to blow up the entire Lakers team alone. Really, when the Lakers group of old oil boys eat dry food? Like the Lakers, the Warriors also have outside scoring masters like Curry plus Thompson. The Warrior can completely play with the combination of 3 musketeers. Therefore, after watching the mutual explosion show of Kobe Bryant versus Logan in the first section, the fierce fight between the Lakers and the Warriors is still to come. The intersection break soon ended, with the rotation of the 2 teams coming on one after the other. The combat effectiveness of the second team on the Lakers side is actually not bad. The lineup of Steve Blake plus Antoine Jamison and Jordan Hill, placed in the rest of the NBA teams, can also be seen. The Warriors' rotation is also not bad. The combination of Jarrett Jack plus Chris Middleton plus Richard Jefferson and Carl Landry may not be high on the ceiling, but the lower limit is still guaranteed. The clash between the 2 teams' rotating lineups, instead of the rookie chickens that people imagined, kept the intensity of the game up. Luo, do you think it's necessary for the team to keep the big players? The 2 sides rotated back and forth, and Mark Jackson from the sidelines came to Logan and chatted with him. The offensive firepower of the Warriors' starting lineup is fierce, but that is based on the premise that Logan is strong and Curry plus Thompson is assisted. Compared to the 3 musketeers, the interior double-height Isery and are almost dispensable. Even when pushing the counter-attack, the 2 big players couldn't participate at all, which seemed very inconsistent. Mark Jackson is not that kind of coach. He would also like to hear from Logan, the core of the team. I don't think it's necessary. Logan's answer was crisp. Coach, the team style is more focused on the speed of offensive and defensive conversion. Festus and Andrew don't fit into our core tactics, they can be the core of the rotation, not the main force. Mark Jackson nodded. Logan's answer hit the nail on the head. These 2 big men are extremely inconsistent with the speed-first style of play that the Warriors are currently pursuing. Instead of destroying the team's tactical system, why not make changes to the lineup? Thinking of this, Mark Jackson's eyes swept over the rotation players of the Mercedes on the court. It's time for a change. In the middle of the second quarter, the coaches of both sides completed the lineup adjustment. The Lakers retained Blake and Jamison and replaced them with the lineup of Kobe Bryant plus Artest plus Howard. Jamison has a certain mid-range shooting ability, which can well free up interior space for Howard. Blake remained on the field to give Nash plenty of time to rest. The 38-year-old son of the wind really needs to allocate his physical strength and playing time reasonably, and then come forward to control the field at key moments. On the Warriors' side, Mark Jackson did not let Isery and Te return to the court after communicating with Logan. After the three musketeers of Curry plus Thompson plus Rogan appeared, the remaining two players who matched them were Chris Middleton and Carl Landry. Retaining Landry is Mark Jackson's last concession to the traditional lineup, leaving at least one traditional interior lineup. Leaving Midu is the construction of a new tactical system for the Warriors. Now, when the Warriors push the counterattack, Kutangromi, all four can participate in it and complete the offensive and defensive conversion. The Golden State Warriors put on a weird lineup in the second quarter, and they lowered the height of the interior. Of course, the Warriors lineup looked at the sideline commentators with a confused look. Discerning people can see that the Warrior wants to play fast. But don't forget, the Lakers' inner line has the existence of Warcraft Howard. Carl Landry plus Middleton's inside, how to deal with Howard. Neither commentator knew how to round the Warriors' short lineup midway through the second quarter. This could be the Warriors' coaching staff experimenting with a lineup. However, they faced the Los Angeles Lakers. The Warriors' coaching staff actually dares to conduct a lineup experiment when facing the new F4 Lakers. The lineups of the two sides were adjusted, and the Lakers attacked the ball. Blake is not a fool, and it can be seen at a glance that the team has the advantage on the inside, and after half, the ball is stuffed inside. Boom. The basketball starts, and Howard backs against Landry. These two are also old rivals. When the Divine Bird was still in the Rocket, it had several head-to-head confrontations with Warcraft. It's just that at that time, it was Dayo who resisted Howard's attack head-on, and Landry was responsible for assisting in the final end of interfering with Warcraft. This time, it was Landry's turn to fight Howard head-on. To be honest, the Divine Bird is really a bit of a loss under the head-on confrontation, but it doesn't matter. He knew very well that he was just a meat shield. The one who really completed the defense of Howard was someone else. Boom. Under the basket, Howard, who fully controls the offensive advantage, presses the defender and gets up with a skillful scrub and layup. However, before Howard's basketball brushed the rebound, behind him, a figure completely enveloped him. Logan, who came back from defense, flew out from behind the Warcraft, grabbed Howard's basketball with both hands, and pressed the ball on the rebound. Grab the hat. Logan grabbed the hat from behind Dwight Howard. Logan is the one who partners Carl Landry on the inside? He's the inside defensive tip in the Warriors lineup? The two commentators were dumbfounded. They all thought that Midu was the position-defining power forward in the Warriors roster. As a result, after a long day, Logan was the one who partnered with Landry in this short lineup. Just like LeBron James in the Heat, he can act as a center and sit inside. The Warriors used Logan as a trumpet James. The fans at the scene also exclaimed, Howard's singles with such a big advantage would actually be grabbed by Rogan's back. It's just that without waiting for the fans to sigh at the end, Rogan, who finished grabbing his hat, directly switched from defense to attack. In addition to the Divine Bird a little unable to keep up with the beat, Ku Tamiro counterattacked collectively, and finally Curry split the ball. Tang fake pass to the bottom corner of the rice bean, real pass down the inside line of Logan, complete the empty catch. The timeout came back and the first to score was the Golden State Warriors, who looked extremely unreasonable in lineup. It was still the Lakers' offensive round, and Blake still didn't believe in evil and stuffed the ball inside. Howard does have the upper hand against Landry, but he also has to keep an eye out for Logan, who doesn't know when he will pop up. But fortunately, this time Logan was pulled away by Jamison, who was pulled to the outside, and Howard ate Landry raw and completed the dunk score. Angrily scored, and Howard, who landed on the ground, was still roaring in celebration, venting his accumulated unhappiness. On the other hand, the Warriors are already fast on the line. A normal offensive round, driven by Curry's direct acceleration of receiving the ball, directly turned into a counterattack battle. The Lakers' defensive position is not standing well, and Kobe plus Artest can only choose Logan, who is targeted to lock up the flank flying attack. Logan's view of the big picture is not covered, receiving Curry's pass, facing Kobe plus Artest chasing and blocking. Logan changed direction plus turned, and found a big empty Midu without looking at people's back passes. It's like the NCAA Finals. Texas Connection recreates Staples. Middleton got up and down, made a big open three-pointer, and hit it steadily. The Golden State Warriors' offensive conversion is too fast. Is this how they play with this lineup? They don't need interior height at all, and with the passing talent of Stephen Curry and Logan, it's enough to play an efficient offensive output. The Lakers' original starters were like classic cars in front of the Warriors' starters, and now it seems that they are slower than classic cars. The two commentators on the sidelines were infected by the Warriors' whirlwind of combat. There's nothing more exciting than seeing this fast-paced and efficient attack. The Lakers are still a one-sided positional battle offensive on the offensive end, and although they can also score, the counterattack speed of the old arms and legs really can't keep up with the offensive rhythm of the Warriors. In the second quarter, the Purple and Gold Army, who played at home, played more like a team than in the first quarter. But the difference between the two teams was pulled to double digits by the Warriors. What is Mike Bueling doing? At halftime, there was no wait for the Lakers' locker room to explode. In the high-level office of Staples, Buss Jr., the son of Lakers owner Buss Sr., directly exploded. "Look at the Golden State Warriors playing style. This is the effect we should play." The Lakers have always been on the road to pursuing beautiful basketball, but they did not play this effect when they formed F4, but the away Warriors played a gorgeous basketball instead. This is something that little Buzz cannot tolerate. In his opinion, this situation is the pot of current Lakers coach Mike Bueling. "We're already in contact with the new manager." Lakers general manager Mitch Kupchak responded directly, "Mike D'Antoni promised us a contract, and he will be in office soon." Originally, Kupchak was still struggling with the Lakers' new coach. Now, after watching the first half of the Warriors game, Kupchak directly decided to apply for D'Antoni's. Why? Because the Warriors' current style of play makes Kupchak feel that it is similar to shelling tactics. Now idle at home, who is the coach who is the best at shelling? Isn't that D'Antoni's? Of course, even if there is a change of coach, it is a matter of future competitions. The problems that the Lakers need to solve at the moment are more serious than changing coaches. Their scoring conversion efficiency on the offensive end is too low, and the defensive end cannot keep up with the offensive rhythm of the Warriors. To put it simply, offense can't kill the opponent, and defense can't look at the opponent. In the Staples home locker room, Kobe, Nash, Gasol, Howard, the four Giants did not say a word, all lowered their heads. The first win of the season for the Purple Gold Army may not be today. "Coach, we can speed up the game again in the third quarter." It's completely different from the lifeless in the Lakers locker room. Logan simply got up and walked to the tactical board and suggested to Mark Jackson, "I will continue to stay on the field with Steven and Clay, and let PJ and Chris play with us. Curry plus Thompson plus PJ Tucker plus Middleton and Rogan's lineup. Be bolder than keeping Landry." Completely abandon the traditional sense of center, the conversion speed, pushed to the extreme. The Lakers were already clearly overwhelmed by the speed of the Warriors' short lineup in the second half of the second quarter. Logan didn't mind at all, with a faster pace of offensive and defensive conversion, and give the aging Lakers another ride. Episode 65, Mark Jackson looked at the new lineup that Logan had planned on the tactical board and thoughtfully. One thing is to say, although Mark Jackson is not the kind of old-fashioned coach, but the lineup concept that is too jumpy still makes him a little hesitant. But, Jackson thought again. Logan was advised in the middle of the second quarter for the team's lineup that did allow the Warriors to open the scoring in the second half. This kind of smooth offense is something the Warriors have not seen in many seasons. Although in previous seasons, the Warriors did not have a scorer of Rogan's level. But the bonus brought by the Warriors lineup is definitely not negligible. "I see, just do as you say." Mark Jackson quickly thought clearly and decisively chose to follow Rogan's arrangement. The intermission ended quickly, and players from both sides emerged from the tunnel of players. The entire Warriors looked very relaxed. They set off an offensive whirlwind in the second half of the second quarter, and the two commentators watching from the sidelines also cheered. The Golden State Warriors style today is different from before. Their offensive ability in previous games was also outstanding, but today's offensive rhythm in the second half of the second quarter improved very quickly, quite like gorgeous basketball. Yes, Stephen Curry and Logan are so good at handling the ball, I even saw the shadow of the Showtime Lakers on them. Although this is in the Staples Center, on the Lakers' turf. The two commentators still tell the truth. The Golden State Warriors style of play is more like the Los Angeles Lakers, who once played gorgeous basketball. Unlike the relaxed appearance of the Warriors, the Lakers are still full of SEMA faces. The Big Four have their own minds. Mike Bueling has completely lost control of this team, and the Los Angeles Lakers are on the verge of a runaway collapse. For the Lakers playing at home, the live commentator hit the nail on the head. Everyone knows that the Lakers can't afford to lose this game. The eyes of the world are on the Staples Center. If they lose today, the entire Lakers team will fall into a black hole of public opinion that cannot be recovered. Everyone knows what kind of pressure the Lakers are carrying today. Once you lose, the consequences are unimaginable. However, it was in this situation that the Lakers still trailed their opponents by double-digit points at halftime. Combined with the scene in the second half of the second quarter when the Warriors bombarded indiscriminately, the Lakers were powerless to fight back. Winning may really have little hope for today's Lakers. The Lakers lineup in the second half is still the starting lineup: Nash plus Kobe Bryant plus Artai plus Grant Gasol and Dwight Howard. The Warriors' third quarter starting lineup made the fans shine. Curry plus Thompson plus Logan naturally goes without saying. Next up are Chris Middleton and PJ Tucker. The Golden State Warriors have implemented the experimental lineup to the end. Seeing the Warriors' starting lineup, the two commentators instantly changed from analyzing the Lakers' seam of face to being interested. They even got PJ Tucker on the field. Tucker was a rookie in '06 who was cut in his first year and could only play in the Europa League. This summer, he received a summer contract with the Phoenix Suns, and finally reached a signing agreement with the Warriors at the end of 4 years. This kind of wandering base salary second-round pick, the Warriors can use to form a starting lineup with 4 core players. This is not a trial lineup, and the commentary can't find a second statement. After taking Carl Landry, the Warriors simply don't even have a pure interior player. They are going to take the rhythm of offensive and defensive switching to the extreme. I'm starting to look forward to the Warriors' performance in the third quarter. I don't know if the Los Angeles Lakers can stand it. As far as I know, Celestial Empire fans call this season's Warriors Brave 3 Madness. Now, the third quarter is here. The performance of the Warriors in the first 2 quarters is definitely worthy of the title of 3 Crazy Braves. Can the Warriors under the new lineup in the third quarter continue the prestige of the Brave 3 Madness? It's all up to the game. Curry held the ball through the half, and after completing the blocking with Tucker, quickly distributed the ball to Logan on the other side. Logan took the ball and threw off Artai in one step, took off into the air, dodged Gasol plus Howard's double ghost shot, glided and scored. Rogan's solo performance continues, and the Lakers can't help him at all. When will the Lakers let Kobe Bryant defend Logan? If Ron is allowed to defend Roe all the time, he will only become a whole ATM, as the two commentators said. Artest was completely reached by Logan today for ATMs. Logan's scoring ability made this beast, which has always been fierce on the defensive end, directly turned into a meow. Artest could only look at Rogan's indifferent back, incompetent and furious. In the Lakers' offensive round, Kobe Bryant stood up and skillfully completed the double cooperation with Gasol, and scored a basket in 3 seconds. It's just that the two sides fight positional battles against each other, and the Lakers are really not weak. Sadly, the Warriors won't let you slow down the pace at all. Midu quickly sent the bottom line, Curry directly accelerated the start with the ball, and left Nash behind in the middle line. The Lakers instantly became a 4 defensive 5 frontcourt, and Howard could only defend the inside and could not defend out. After Logan received the pass, he kept giving the ball to Tucker, who was completely empty by Warcraft in the bottom corner. PJ Tucker made a slight adjustment, and he shot quickly with a 3-point shot in the bottom corner. Duong. Unfortunately, Tucker hit his first 3-pointer, and his soft hand missed. After all, it was the first time he had high hopes from the team after returning to the NBA, and Tucker was a little nervous, which was expected. Under the basket, Warcraft is ready to take the rebound. Although the Lakers are 4 defensive 5 in the front court, the opponent's direct practice of letting base salary players throw 3-pointers to send the ball still made Howard laugh. Boom. However, it didn't wait for Warcraft to grab the rebound. Logan has flown out and grabbed the offensive rebound over Howard's head. Grabbing an offensive rebound, Logan landed and decisively passed the ball again to Tucker in the bottom corner. Keep casting. After passing the ball, Logan got in the basket with Howard and yelled at Tucker, "There is a board, keep casting. There is a board." Rogan's powerful words hit Tucker's soul. The boss of the team is giving himself the bottom. What reason do he have to be nervous and hesitate? PJ Tucker let out a long breath, and after a slight adjustment, the bottom corner 3 shot again. The basketball streaked through the air, and Howard under the basket had already begun to wrestle with Rogan. Unexpectedly, no matter how the Warcraft exerts its power, it can't move Logan in the slightest. The strength piece, at least Logan is not as thin as he looks. This was also expected by Rogan. After all, Peak Bryant is a heavy guard nicknamed Malone Jr. Logan has not only the power of the Peak Kobe, but also the Peak Kobe Max version. The basket is hard to resist Howard's back injury, no problem. It's just that this ball didn't hit the iron. Tucker bottom corner 3-point hollow brush frame into the net. The Warriors have one more outside musketeer. The Lakers missed the next attack, the rebound was rushed by Tucker to the ground, and the Warriors pushed back. Howard still didn't defend it, and Curry simply waited for Tucker to land outside the 3-point line and get the ball into Tucker's hands. PJ Tucker glanced at Logan, confident 3 points, 2 consecutive shots. Ugh. The basketball ran steadily through the net, and Tucker hit a 3-point shot again. Well done, PJ. Tucker hit a 3-point shot, allowing Curry, who passed him the ball, to rush to his side excitedly and bump his chest with him in celebration. For Curry, he was simply excited about Tucker, the dreamer, scoring consecutive points. But for the Lakers, that's not good news. PJ Tucker actually hit 3 consecutive threes in the opening game of the third quarter, and scored 6 points alone. The biggest crisis for the Los Angeles Lakers came, and the Golden State Warriors moved out a base salary player and shot through the Lakers' defense. Did the Lakers defend? They didn't pay attention to PJ Tucker at all, and Dwight Howard didn't dare to pull out the defense at all. Dwight can't come out, and if he dares to pull it out, Logan and Steven will make the Lakers pay. The two commentators analyzed the situation on the field very thoroughly. Howard is on the inside, defending Logan or Curry from getting off the defense and entering the box. As long as he dares to pull out to defend Tucker, the Kuro combination can turn the Lakers' 3-second zone into his own back garden. There are too many reasons for this. Tucker's sudden three-point shooting, Nash, who was casually broken through by Curry, became Miao-Artai, and Howard, who was deeply affected by a back injury. As soon as the Lakers started the third quarter, they were already riddled with holes and holes. Logan suddenly cut 7 points in a row, and on the coffin of the Lakers, a few more nails were set. The Braves landed in Staples, the away Golden State Warriors, who beat the Lakers by 13 points in the third quarter, widening the gap to 27 points in one fell swoop. There is no suspense, the game is over. Seeing the three-quarter battle, LeBron James, who watched the live broadcast, had already got up and began to get dressed and prepare to go home. The Golden State Warriors, or Logan, showed not only explosive scoring ability, but also strong rhythm control in this game. The Los Angeles Lakers were completely toyed with by Logan. Even the rhythm of the game is in Logan's hands. What do the Lakers win? Lee Brown, I think the Golden State Warriors may be an obstacle in our way to defending our title. Dwayne Wade also turned off the TV. At that time, who will Logan hand over? There is no doubt that Logan is the heart of this warrior and the brain of this warrior. As long as they can limit the dead Logan, the Golden State Warriors are not as strong as they seem. How to defeat the Warriors, almost equal to how to limit Logan. Let's talk about it then. James didn't bother to think about it, got dressed, and left the arena. Meanwhile, the Staples Center. Trailing by 27 points in the third quarter, Mike Brang roared at the team from the bench. It's a pity that the roar of the sheep can't wake up a group of fierce beasts at all. Mike Brang also gave up the last resistance, and did not even replace the main player in the fourth quarter, completely announcing the abandonment of the game. Similarly, Brett knows very well that his coaching career in Los Angeles may be over. In the end, even against the F4 Lakers, fans still failed to see Logan in the fourth quarter. The Golden State Warriors broke the aging Lakers with their magical lineup experiments in the second and third quarters. They won the fourth game of the season, winning 4 straight games and giving the Lakers their 4th loss of the season. Los Angeles Lakers, 4 consecutive defeats in the opening season. Counting the preseason, the Lakers F4 has lost 12 consecutive games so far, and has not tasted a victory. In the post-game interview session, Kobe, who once again scored 37 points, refused all media interviews. On his own home turf, Bryant did not give the home media a good face. The Black Mamba has blown up. Although he and Logan were very addicted to Biao in the first quarter, but the team could not win the ball, what was the use of Biao's addiction? No one wants to be the leader of the empty chopping group. Dwight Howard also lost his smile when interviewed by the media, and bluntly said, "I don't know what happened to the team. We just can't win, no matter how we play, no matter how we change tactics, we are always weaker than our opponents." Howard shook his head helplessly, unable to continue. The Lakers are 2 things you can't do today: offense doesn't work, defense doesn't work. After the interview with the Lakers, the media on the scene flocked to the Warriors bench. Today, the Golden State Warriors took victory with crushing at Staples. They had so much content in front of the game that reporters were already holding back a basket of questions to throw on to the Warriors coaches and players. Why don't you ask the magical Logan about the lineup? In response to reporters' questions about the second half of the second quarter and the opening lineup of the third quarter, Mark Jackson directed his attention directly to Rogan. "That's all Luo's opinion, I'm just doing what he says." Leaving all the problems to Rogan, Mark Jackson turned and walked away, without taking a single cloud with him. It's all Logan's opinion? The reporters on the scene didn't care about Mark Jackson sneaking, and they automatically caught the keywords, Logan. Episode 66. The reporters' curious eyes suddenly glanced at Rogan. They are very curious about the powerful offensive efficiency produced by the small lineup. Why should Logan choose to try a smaller lineup in an era when other teams are buying big centers frequently? Could it be that this is the future of the NBA? The reporters looked at the young rookie and threw out questions one by one. At this time, Rogan's mind was occupied by another matter. How can you play the most perfect conversion offense of a small lineup? Or from the next game, try to switch to small ball mode completely. Logan muttered to himself in his heart, then looked up and found dozens of flashing lights pointing at him in front of him. Curious journalists are waiting for him to speak. Logan picked up the microphone, thought about it, and said leisurely, "For the small ball lineup, it's about a lot of off-ball runs and conversion offense. It takes a lot of mobility from 5 players, which is why it's called a small ball squad. I'm only experimenting at the moment, and in the next game against the Rockets, we'll come up with a more complete system. Maybe that's the future of the league, extreme offensive efficiency, 3-point plus free throws." The voice fell. The reporters were all stunned. The future of the league is 3-point plus free throws. Isn't it? Could it be that there is no room for the future big center, but there are many teams that focus on the inside now? Why can you make such an arrogant conjecture as a rookie? Many journalists expressed confusion, and others expressed ridiculousness, deeply skeptical of Rogan's idea. To this, Logan smiled slightly and returned to the dressing room. He knew in his heart that in this era, it was still the era of the inner line twin towers. But it only takes a few more years for pure interior to be completely worthless, and centers who used to be able to win big contracts will either develop one-handed three-point shooting or sign contracts that would have been humiliating a decade ago. For example, center Hibbert, who now shows his strong interior blocking strength. Logan thought about it. In this year's Eastern Conference, the Pacers were a big obstacle on the way to the Heat's title defense. This is thanks to the play of center Hibbert. Unfortunately, a year later, Hibbert will be completely out of the limelight, and his bulky footwork will only cause problems for the team. Now that I know where the future is going, what I want to do is very simple. Choose to replace Tay and Isery, and let me Hilton go with Tucker. From the next game, officially grind the small ball lineup. Logan thought in the locker room as he pulled out his phone to inform the head coach of his thoughts. Mark, who received the message, immediately replied to Rogan, "I see, from the next game, let's take this experimental lineup to the extreme. By the way, before the game the day after tomorrow, you come to my office, and I want to have a serious talk with you." To say that Coach Mark, since this game, has been impressed by Rogan. Not only does he think Logan will be a future player, but he thinks Logan will be a great leader. That would be a new generation of leaders. He was actually secretly listening to Rogan's speech, and it was then that he felt a deep shock. The future of the league will be 3 points plus free throws. How forward-looking this is. Even older head coach Phil Jackson may not be able to see the future of the league so thoroughly. At that time, Mark decided to bring Logan to his office for a good talk. On the other side, Logan was stunned on the spot after receiving the news. "Asking me to go to the office for tea?" Logan smiled slightly, not understanding the coach's intentions. But in the blink of an eye, he set his sights on a recent ESPN report. Title: Western Guard Harden vs. Rogan, who are you more optimistic about? This is the teaser that ESPN made for the next game. First, Harden and Logan frequently appeared in the media, and comparisons about the two of them were endless. Some say Logan is in the West and is missing out on Player of the Week because of Harden's presence. But the truth was that he slapped those people in the face. Logan looked down the headline and quickly turned to the comment booth, where he skimmed word by word. Player of the Week will undoubtedly hang Harden and play. Just Harden's eyes to defend, it's simply useless. He's just a nimble fat man. Some of the comments that leaned towards Logan were followed by frequent verbal attacks by many Harden advocates. If you let the bearded man and Logan do a one-on-one, it is not necessarily who will win. It's just a rookie who has just shown his spearhead. How can it be compared to the bearded man who has played for several years and even played in the finals? Both sides argue endlessly. Logan saw the end and turned off the story. He began to think seriously about his next focus battle with the Rockets. Either way, Harden is also a respectable opponent. After he became famous for his eye defense, he actually practiced excellent one-on-one defense in one offseason. After he was criticized for not being able to distribute the ball, he actually developed the ability of a playmaker and perfectly coordinated the team's attack. Logan thinks about the future Harden, who, as the sixth man of the former Thunder, actually showed unparalleled basketball intelligence after coming to the Rockets. At this point, Logan respected him. All powerful opponents deserve their respect. Logan muttered to himself, and then began to train intensively for the next game. Soon, the location came to the center of Auckland. At Oracle Stadium, the Rockets will face a third game on the road against the Warriors. After losing to the Blazers in front, they regained momentum and actually won over the Cavaliers by a big margin. In front of the newly rising rookie Irving, Harden scored 30 points to lead the team to victory. At this time, every player on the Rockets walked into Oracle Arena from the player tunnel with a big smile. At this time, the fans from the away team stood up one after another. Team Rocket! Team Rocket! Victory! They are constantly cheering. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the Warriors players to play. At this moment, the audience held their breath, and the Oracle Arena seemed to be suddenly quiet. The Rockets fans were shocked, and at that moment, even the sound of mosquitoes could be heard quietly, and they did not dare to squeak and watched quietly. Suddenly, a wave of sound erupted. Logan! Logan! Warriors fans stood up, held up their cards, and shouted. Episode 67, Logan gained great fame with the Warriors. He led his team to 4 straight wins, and just after stepping into the stadium, all the fans stood up. Their cheers and affection filled their faces. Even the commentators on the scene were stunned, they rarely saw this scene. Do you mean anything by that? A male commentator said with a slight mockery. These applause certainly mean a rising star. Another commentator added, at Oracle, Logan is going to be a new generation of superstars, and from his NACC games and the first few games of his rookie career, I believe he has this talent and ability. That's right. It's rare to hear so enthusiastic fans, and the last time we saw this was at the home of the Bulls. You don't need to say that historical figure, you can guess who it is, right? It's Jordan. You're comparing Logan to the great basketball star Jordan. The male commentator glanced at his companions on the side with a good gaze. Are you afraid that I will be subjected to online violence? Don't worry, I have long been prepared, and I am also optimistic about Logan. The male commentator said with a straight face. Soon, some key media caught the scene, and they quickly wrote the headline of the day, Jordan's successor, Logan? This is a more meaningful headline, enough to pull everyone into the fishing boat. Looking at the headlines they wrote and the sensational scene at the beginning, the media can imagine how many people will enthusiastically participate in the discussion of Jordan's successor after the news is released. Brush. Eyes turned. The lights are once again gathered in the Warriors' starting lineup. Among the players who appeared, there were no usual and Isery. Instead, he was replaced by Small Tucker and Middleton. The commentators were energetic when they saw it, and they discussed eagerly one by one. They're going to take the small lineup to the extreme. It seems that there is a good show today. The Rockets, on the other hand, showed a skeptical smile. You guys don't take our Rockets too seriously, and the small lineup is not afraid of being blasted by us inside? Jones, this game is the time for you to play at your level. No, I'm still growing, this game still needs to see ASIC's performance. Terrence Jones responded with a smile. As a player who has only played for a few years, although he has the talent in basketball, it will take a few more years to really emerge. Right now, he's just 1.48 million role players a year. If there is a main interior lineman in the Rockets, it can only be Ömer Asik. He was previously a member of the Turkish national team, but since being signed by the Rockets, he has thoroughly demonstrated his basketball talent. He played his full play at the basket, averaging 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. Because of this, he and Harden can lead the Rockets to play well. Another player who has attracted everyone's attention is Jeremy Lin, a player of the Celestial Empire. As a Harvard-educated high IQ player, his basketball talent relied on training day and day, and eventually not only entered the NBA, but also won the title of Lin Madness. Now that he has left the Knicks and come to the Rockets, what kind of performance can be brought to people as the former Lin Madness is still worth everyone's expectations. In the Rockets' first few games, he was decent and not very impressive. In the eyes of the players of the Celestial Empire, perhaps Logan and Jeremy Lin are the contrast between the pride of heaven and the grassroots. Under the attention of everyone, Logan also came to Jeremy Lin and hugged him warmly. It's a pleasure to be able to compete with the Chinese people in the American Basketball League. Logan said with a smile. You are my driving force, Logan. Jeremy Lin patted Logan on the shoulder heavily. As Jeremy Lin, who participated in the NBA draft but ultimately failed, his admiration for Logan was born. You are a champion, and I and Happy can fight you. Jeremy Lin slowly opened the distance and looked at Logan face to face. This game, let me learn more from you. Jeremy Lin smiled at Logan. Good. Logan and Jeremy Lin touched shoulders, and the two saluted each other and separated. And this scene shocked all the media. Logan didn't take Harden at all. You see Harden's glaring expression, as the main force of the team, he was actually blatantly ignored. Media people talk and laugh. Logan actually only talked to the sixth person, Jeremy Lin, but did not pay any attention to the bearded Harden. And this also infuriated the bearded, and he angrily shouted at Asik, Just let that Celestial Empire player wait, I'm going to turn him over for this game. I want him to know that the best defender in the West is me. Logan didn't know that his actions had angered the bearded. He just has special feelings for his countrymen. Soon the competition officially began. The battle for the best guard between Logan and Harden also kicked off. Jumping balls. The Rockets' Asic jumped high and easily picked the ball away, giving the ball to Jeremy Lin. This time, Jeremy Lin, who started the game, went straight down and gave Harden the ball in the high post. The bearded man glared and looked straight at Logan in front of him. That kind of strong provocation was about to come out, and he wanted to slash 30 points in front of Logan. Brush. The bearded one retreated, pretending to break through. And Logan followed closely behind, blocking the route of his breakthrough, and it was this action that made the corners of the bearded mouth slightly picked. He smiled secretly, "You have hit the plan." Brush. The bearded man changed direction suddenly, his eyes were already looking at the basket, and he perfectly tricked Logan. This time, in the face of the enemy's small ball lineup, he will be like no man's land. But at the moment of cutting, I saw Harden's expression instantly stiffened, and the ball in his hand was suddenly cut away. Turning around, Logan responded with a smile. Steal, +1. How is this possible? Harden was dumbfounded. Brush. After Logan made a steal, he led the team to launch a fast attack. He just used a feint to cooperate with Harden's feigned breakthrough. How could he be dangled without the center of gravity shifting? The offensive and defensive transitions that followed the tackle were outrageously fast. Asic had just taken a position under the basket to grab the rebound in the front court, and the next second, the ball was lost, and he had not yet come to the emergency defense, only to see Logan put the ball straight to Tucker in the bottom corner. Brush. Gorgeous arcs raised. Tucker faced an unguarded basket and hit the first three-pointer of the game. Score +3. Asic, who had just run back to the midfield line, was dumbfounded. That's too fast. He just moved to the half, and the opposing person had already hit a three-pointer. Episode 70, with frequent passes, the Warriors hit another three-pointer. This is undoubtedly worse, and the haze above the Rockets' heads is even thicker. Someone has to step up. And that person can only be me. Harden said silently, and after receiving the ball, he went all the way. He faced the defensive player Logan, did not dare to underestimate the enemy, and called the inside players to come up and block the demolition. Good, all I want is misplaced defense. Harden was greeted by Middleton's defense after blocking. At this time, he used his retreat step, which had been honed thousands of times, to shoot with a jump shot. Step on the three-point line and hit cleanly. The Rockets finally scored on the shot. This time, even the commentary was excited. The Rockets finally opened the way. When Harden faced a defensive player who was a Logan, his confidence was stronger than ever. This retreat step is his stunt, but unfortunately, he just stepped on the line. Harden glanced at the scoreboard and added only 2 points, slightly disappointed. But his self-confidence has hit back, and now he has strong enough thoughts to blossom in scoring. Logan, just let the horse come. Harden even provoked Logan after scoring the goal, and the action of picking fingers made everyone see Harden's arrogant side. Yes, bearded. I'll give you a feel for what devil defense is, Logan muttered to himself, then received the ball and dribbled through the half. The small ball lineup, ready to tear apart the opponent's defense again. Staggered positions. Thompson waited for Logan's pass. Brush. A straight plug was given to Thompson, and it was an opportunity to open a spot. But Thompson, who received the ball, did not rush to shoot, he gave a diagonal pass back to Logan. Brush. Logan suddenly picked up speed and cut straight in. He looked away, and he knew in his heart that everyone was standing. At this time, Harden sneered secretly in the back. He had followed Logan's footsteps. As long as Logan dared to jump, he had the confidence to block. Sure enough, you are still not as powerful as the legend. Harden saw Logan jump, and a smile spilled from the corner of his mouth. What? The next second, Harden was directly stunned. One passes without looking at people. The backhand swayed and shoved directly into PJ Tucker's hand. PJ Tucker, who was waiting on the bottom line, faces an empty defense. Oops, I was deceived. An expression almost identical to Harden's emerged. Jones wanted to block Logan's cut, but he didn't think that just a few steps away, the ball actually went to Tucker. 3 points for empty space. Tucker goes one more level. Warriors +3. Jones was dumbfounded. As long as it was empty, Tucker didn't seem to have missed a shot. This time it was his pot again, because he lost the defensive player, resulting in no pressure on the opponent to shoot this time. The manager had already turned his gaze to Jones, and there seemed to be a message in that fierce look. If you let him shoot any open three-pointer, I'll put you on the bench for the next 2 games. Jones seemed to have read such a message. He secretly swallowed a mouthful of spit, repeatedly reminding in his heart. Even if Logan breaks through, don't assist in defense, don't assist in defense. If I let the opponent's three-point man score again this time, I definitely won't have a chance to be a starter. Jones muttered to himself. Soon, the other Rockets players were in the same predicament. What? It was actually passed to Thompson. Morris opened his mouth in surprise. He wanted to pinch Logan, who had thought of a tricky pass to Thompson. The latter hit steadily and scored another 3 points. What? Curry actually appeared at a 45-degree angle. Jeremy Lin of the Rockets was also surprised. He looked at Logan breaking through at the starting speed and wondered in his heart whether to help the defense. But the next second, he actually saw the ball given to Curry. He's obviously still in the bottom corner just now. Jeremy Lin was directly dumbfounded, and in an instant, the coolie had come to a 45-degree angle. The moment he received the ball, Curry's picturesque three-point shot was clean. Brush. 3-point hit. Once again, the Warriors opened the three-pointer. Harden, the main player of the Rockets, is almost stupid, and he has repeatedly recovered 2 points on the offensive end, but his teammates have constantly lost their positions. I worked hard to get 2 points, and you made my opponent make a three-pointer. What the hell are you guys playing? James Harden questioned his companion. We don't want to do this, it's that you have been repeatedly broken through, so we thought of helping you to help you defend. One by one, the companions complained. What a joke is this? Harden gave a disdainful look and said to the other 4 Rockets players, you guys guard your players, look at the stat panel, Thompson's scoring and Curry's scoring are higher than Rogan's. What right do you have to question my defense? At this time, the 4 Rockets players were speechless. Forget it, we will each defend ourselves, and we will never assist in defense. Asik said depressedly. It better be so. Harden said disdainfully. Soon, Logan attacked with the ball and came to Harden. As always, Logan will pretend to break through, but as a leader, he has his eyes on other players running off the ball. Whenever there is any open opportunity, he will split the ball in time. But this time, he seemed to feel something different. Why are they all so close to the defense? Could it be that you take one-on-one watching? Rogan was slightly stunned when he saw the scene. But in the next second, he suddenly sneered. This is what I was looking forward to. If you come together to defend me, maybe I still have some difficulties, but you take one-on-one defense, and you are not prepared to assist in defense. That's my moment of performance. The corner of Logan's mouth raised a smile, lightly holding the ball. Boom. 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 Every time the basketball hits the ground, it bounces up. Logan thought slightly and had an idea. At this moment, Harden made a bold steal and suddenly struck. What? Logan was shocked. I actually dared to make a steal when I was stuck in position. Brush. Logan cut straight in and reflexively passed. Harden snatched a loneliness, looked back, and the whole person was dumb. Logan suddenly jumped up and took off along the free throw line, as if in no man's land. One-handed snapping. The Warriors scored +2. The fans were stupid. This Harden actually lost his defensive position, was borne by Logan. This will be the most humiliating scene for James Harden as a shooting guard. His defense is no different from a bench player.